Hello and welcome to Eurosport Asia Pacific for a bumper Saturday of Top 14 rugby. Our first game is Perpignan against Clermont, a repeat of last year's final. Perpignan are second in the table this season, behind Clermont, the league leaders. And then after this game, we'll head down to Toulouse, where Robbie Knock and his co-commentator Bertus Swanepoel, a South African on Toulouse's books, will commentate Toulouse Stade Francais for us. So first, Perpignan-Clermont from the Stade Aimé Giral. Perpignan won 22-13 in last year's final. Clermont topped the table with 25 points, 5 wins, 1 draw and 1 defeat. Perpignan second, they've won 5 and lost 2, both away from home. It's shaping up to be quite a game. I'm joined by Laurent Benezet, the former French international prop. Laurent, your thoughts on this afternoon's fixture?
Hello Dave, it's a very exciting game because it comes 2 weeks before the European Cup, so it's a big test for both teams. The proof is when you will see the Clermont players, it's nearly the best team they can put on the pitch. Perpignan is struggling a little bit more with their players because they have a couple of injuries, and the main one is Maxime Mermoz, the new international center who was such a big impact on the Perpignan team last season. So that should be a big test for both teams and an exciting game to watch.
We saw Clermont coming out first, followed by the hosts Perpignan. Clermont without a couple of big names as well. Aurélien Rougerie, their captain, isn't here for unspecified personal reasons. And there was also the late withdrawal of their Italian centre Gonzalo Cagnale, who has been replaced by Wesley Fofana in the centres, with Sermonaya Bay coming onto the bench. An incredible atmosphere here, Laurent.
Yeah, you're talking about Aurélien Rougerie not being there, but don't forget he's Julien Malzieu, French international, and more than anything, Napoleoni Nalaga on the other wing. So we shouldn't miss too much. And Clermont should have the opportunity to score with these wings this afternoon.
Today's referee is Monsieur Berdos from the Paris region. It is Clermont playing in their traditional yellow strip up against Perpignan, who will kick off here. Nicolas Laharag enjoyed a victory over his brother Julian's team last week. Perpignan quite comfortable winners over Montauban. That was also in this stadium.
It's a big challenge for Nicolas Laharag because he's supposed to be the #1 choice for Perpignan, but he struggled on the previous seasons to be a big impact for the team, so he has to improve his game this season.
And the first kick for Clermont, giving a first chance perhaps for Perpignan to run the ball back, and it's Magnas going on a run, flicking it up to Chuli. Already enterprising stuff from the home side, kept in play, and now eventually Perpignan are bundled into touch by Clermont, but a bright start, and Clermont want to get on with it quickly. Well, already in the first 30 seconds, Laurent, we've seen what attracts people to French rugby.
Yeah, Perpignan wants to move the ball quickly away from the forwards. They know Clermont defense is quite impressive, so they have to create a lot of different type of attacks if they want to create some gaps in the defense, and doing well with David Marty, their center, on that occasion.
Marty, who is back in the side today after injury. He was a try scorer in the final last year, as was Napoleoni Nalaga, the very impressive Clermont wing. Well, that ball was kicked dead, so that's why Perpignan have the scrum back here in a very good attacking position. That pass rather less impressive. They might give Nalaga a chance. Perpignan get the ball back. It needs a little bit more composure to their play now. Chuli on the run. He's found an excellent inside ball to Magnas. There's a real chance here, 2-on-1. Stopped 5 meters short of the line is Girardo, but it's still there for Durand. And they're going to go over. Perpignan with the first score of the game on 2 minutes, and it's Jean-Philippe Grandclaw.
impressive start from Perpignan. They were able to keep the ball, to develop their game, and to be faster than the Clermont defense. It's a very good start. You can do a better one, particularly when you play on new pitch. Perpignan looks really impressive on these first minutes. Well done on that fantastic try, as we can see with their backs playing really away from the defense. Damien Choury, number 8, had a big impact on this occasion. They could have scored on that one. Unfortunately for them, he was not the center having the ball, but the hooker. And obviously the speed is not the same, but they react really well, able to keep the ball on the maul and to have a fast ball to play with Jean-Philippe Grand-Claude, able to score that first try of the game.
It might answer some of Perpignan's critics. They have been criticised for not putting enough together in attack so far this season. Jacques Brunel, who we caught sight of there, their coach with the moustache, said, well, you can't ask for too much more. We've already won 5 games out of 7. Just think what we'll be like when we are playing well. Well, they're now 7-0 ahead, thanks to Nicolas Laharague slotting the conversion.
It's always difficult for a team which has been a champion, who won the league the year before, to restart, because it looks like if you play an average rugby, you are able to beat a lot of teams already. But of course, if you can to keep your position, you have to improve your rugby. And sometimes the players are not that focused on rugby, on training, and you have a price to pay by the end of the season. But Perpignan looks better than that.
Now Clermont, they've lost in 3 straight finals, and they have to try to get back into this game now. Already 7 points down. At one stage in that Perpignan attacking move, I thought Clermont were going to be able to break and might even have scored a breakaway try of their own. They're making a couple of mistakes in these early stages. And referee Berdos has signalled a penalty in favour of Perpignan. And it's going to be a shot at goal. Long range.
Yeah, the 40s, he was a forward ball from Elvis Vermeulen, and he was Nalaga offside playing that ball. So it's a justified penalty, and that gives the opportunity to Perpignan to be 10 points ahead of Clermont. If there is a pitch where you shouldn't let your opponent to create a big gap on the score, it's in Perpignan, because after that it will be really difficult with the team really focused, the atmosphere, the supporters.
Silence as Laharague takes the kick. It must be right at the extreme end of his range, and indeed it falls short, and Clermont are spared, going 10 points down. They really need to regroup. They haven't got into this game yet. They need to find their focus. We saw the kick that went directly long. That provoked the attacking move, from which Perpignan eventually scored. They're making too many mistakes, Laurent, in these early stages. It's not like them.
And they are under pressure, and they have to find a way to be in control of the ball, to be in control of their game, and to play on the opponent side of the pitch. We have to mention the wind. It's always an important player in Perpignan. He's not that strong today, which is a good thing.
But enough for that ball not to be straight, and for the scrum to be awarded to Clermont.
And at the moment, it looks like he's blowing in Perpignan advantage.
This scrum is going to have to be reset. The Perpignan are without one of their most prolific line-out forwards, Olivier Olibo, who had a stomach operation yesterday. I don't know quite how long he's going to be out for. A free kick for feeding there, I think.
It's an interesting part of the game, the scrum, because Perpignan wants to put a lot of pressure on their opponent. Clermont can struggle on that part of the game sometimes, so we have to look at it. It could be a decisive part of the game today.
It could be decisive here. A terrific kick from Nicolas Laharague, pinning Clermont right back to 5 meters from their own line. And Clermont have an untried and untested second row formation in Loic Jacquet and Thibaut Privat. They've never played together before, but they do have the benefit of the free kick here, which will give them a chance to clear their lines.
There is one big miss in Clermont team, which is Jamie Cudmore, because he's such a huge player that he always has a big impact on the game, and if he plays lock, it's a very good thing for his props, obviously. And today the second row with Privat and Jacquet is quite light for this level of rugby.
A four-man line out. Girardo will throw it into play. Chuli has gathered at the back. A return of the maul to rugby this season, of course, with the law changes. You can no longer bring down these mauls, which was really a blight all last season. And Perpignan made some good ground here. Durand, he likes to snipe around the base.
You can observe on the line out, any of the teams are really serene on the way they organize it and the way they catch the ball. And it happens last season and even at the beginning of this one. These two teams have the skills to be good on line outs, but it's always a part of the season where they struggle with it, and that makes obviously their results not as good as they could be.
Well, the scrum's not going at all well for Clermont. They already conceded a free kick, and now added to that a penalty, and this is in kickable range for Nicolas Laharag. David Zikarashvili, the man who was arguing with the referee there, the Georgian tight head prop for this Clermont team.
He's a very strong man.
It was his side of the scrum that collapsed there, Laurent.
Yeah, obviously, and he doesn't want to let his opponent prop to push under him and to put him under pressure. So the ref decided he helped the scrum to fall down. We'll see through the game, because Zikarashvili is powerful, so that could change.
The 10th minute. But Perpignan are not going 10-0 in front. That's a surprising miss from Laharag, who was so good with the boot last week against Montauban. He's now missed 2 penalties. Perpignan could be 13-0 in front by now. Again, Perpignan securing good ball. Laharag. And the back row getting involved in the playmaking. David Marty making another couple of yards. And they will come back this side, over to the right. That's a huge hit on Perez. Oh, if that ball had gone to hand, they did have men over, but they were both second rows, so maybe just as well that it did go to the floor, and it will be a scrum for the knock-on.
It was an impressive tackle, as you mentioned it. I think it was Jason White, the Scottish flanker. We're going to see it again. Oh no, that's a forward ball.
Here we go.
Oh no, it's Thibaut Privat, Clermont second row. And he had a huge impact on that part of the game, because he really stopped Perpignan, and after that they struggled to restart and recreate the momentum they got at the
Let's talk about this man, Laurent. We saw Nicolas Mas there. He's captain today, and he's a huge influence on this game. He's just back after appendicitis, and he seems to be causing the Clermont scrum all sorts of problems. He's on the tight head side.
Yeah, he's an international player with a lot of experience now. Even if on that scrum he's struggling, he's under pressure from Lionel Fauré. But he's important because he's the captain, he's the spirit of the team, and more than that, he's a huge and strong player, which who always help the Perpignan scrum to put his opponent under pressure.
Using the runners in midfield again as Durand looks for some opportunities to shift the ball wide, and here they come with Marty. And now joining the line is Berger, just back from suspension. He's brought down 3 or 4 yards short. Oh, the Clermont defence looking in disarray. If they can move the ball to this side, they have men over. And the second try is scored by Jerry Brits, the South African. And it was coming, Laurent.
Yeah, what is surprising is the way the Clermont defense is so slow today. Perpignan is playing really well, you cannot criticize that, but at the same time they didn't create anything fantastic, just the speed of Berger on that one, and this one is Guirado, the hooker, who is able to create the difference. But the Clermont defense on that occasion is not that well organized, it's even a little bit slow, and Perpignan is just by moving the ball on each part of the pitch is able to create gaps in the defense and opportunities to score. Well done Perpignan, but Clermont has really to change something and to change it really quickly now.
Already 12-0 ahead. Laharag with the kick to try to make it 14-0. And this one is going to bisect the posts absolutely perfectly. And Perpignan, incredibly, are 14-0 ahead. They are so strong at home. And now, well, even in these early stages of the game, it might be time to start thinking about bonus points. We'll talk more about that in a second. But first, we'll see the scoring pass from Guirado to Brits, who also scored a very fine try last week.
And for Clermont, it should be time to think about starting playing rugby.
Absolutely. You wonder defensively, Laurent, are those the absences of Rougerie and Cagnali which are causing the problems, or is it something more than that?
It can be Cagnali is a good big tackler and a good defender, so it can be the key player for Van Cotter to organize the defense. On his position is today Wesley Fofana, who is a very good player, a great French young player, but obviously on the defense part of the pitch he could be not that experienced than the Italian center, and that could explain some mist from the Clermont backs at the moment.
Well, the referee waving play on after Jason White knocked the ball on. That was just prior to White's knock on. That was Clermont's first sustained spell of possession. Oh, Marty, if that ball had gone to hand to Berger, it could have been interesting, but now Clermont breaking at the other end. Nalaga. But once again, the Clermont attack coming to nothing.
Perpignan was really good at putting their backs in front of Clermont forward. So obviously the speed is on Perpignan's side, and that could be a great opportunity to score, even if they were still playing in their own side of the pitch. If Berger got that pass and that ball, he was able to really beat the defense, and Clermont was again in real trouble.
Spot on, Laurent. There are mismatches all over the pitch here. They're getting their centres, wings and fullback up against props at times. And Vern Cotter has really got to get his team organised. Must be able to get a message onto the pitch during these stoppages. Often you can send messages on with the physios when they come to treat the minor injuries.
So already a change on the Perpignan team with Nicolas Durand apparently being out, injured, and the substitute is David Mele, who has the perfect name to play as a scrum half.
For those of you who aren't bilingual, Mele means scrum in French.
Another injured player.
Looks like Brits is down, the scorer of the second try. big South African.
Yeah, not that big, because when he signed for Perpignan, he was supposed to be a lock, but apparently Perpignan coaches found him too light to play as a lock, and he's doing really well as a back row. He already scored a try. He's quite used to be on the forward, on the back side, to have the good balls and to score plenty of tries.
We can see what happened here. I think this is Durand. So David Mele will be introducing the ball to this scrum.
Well, it's going to be a proper warning for the two front rows, because at the moment, as we can see, it's no scrum staying straight and up. So the ref is offering a last warning before a yellow card, I can guess. That's Nicolas Mas, and behind him is the lock Charlie Wachu, who used to play for Stade Francais last season under the Australian coach. And it's a funny story, because Charlie Wachu is a very strong man, not that tall for second row, only around 1 meter 90 centimeters, and then Ewan Mackenzie proposed him to play as a prop, and it was a sort of fight between the two, because the player wasn't that interested to play on the front row, so he didn't play at all, and he had to leave the club.
Laharag downfield. Julien Malzieu can get this attack going again with Anthony Floch switching it across to Nalaga. It's the first run we've seen. Wow, what pace. 21 tries last season. He nearly got there all the way on his own.
It's quite severe decision from the ref. I think he was fault on each side, and he went for the Clermont one, where effectively the players went to protect the ball, went a little bit too far. At the same time,
there was a block there on the
sort of block
on the tackler.
Yeah, maybe on basketball it was a fault.
It's Marius Joubert who was using his body to good effect to create a little gap before Napoloni Nalaga completely took out David Marty, and Nalaga needs no second invitation. He just brushed off Charlie Wachu. He took this tackle.
Looks like for me the ref decide for that penalty to compensate the fact he took the wrong decision by letting Nalaga to play, even if he was a block. So he corrected it in that way, which is not.
Now Floch going on a great run. Well, it's a shame they waited until they were 14 points to 0 down to start playing Clermont, but there are a few more positive signs, and they have their first penalty of this game. Referee telling the Perpignan players to get away from the tackle area.
If you can hear the ref, you can feel he's starting to get upset with the situation, because every maul and ruck are full of faults from both sides, so he feels he's not in completely control of the situation. He could be tempted to use a yellow card soon if the players don't respect the rules more than they are doing at the moment.
There's the power of Napoloni Nalaga. Does strike fear into the heart of every defence in the top 14, and it was Jerry Britz who got the tackle. But here's the most accurate kicker in the top 14, Brock James, trying to reduce the arrears to the whistles of the home crowd. Does not put off the Australian. The flags are raised, and Clermont have their first points to reduce the deficit to 14 points to 3.
was time for Clermont to score something, to be back on the match and to create a little bit of confidence and doing better at the moment, playing in Perpignan side of the pitch, which is important if you want to score points. Let's see if they can do that again.
No, okay.
They haven't had much territory. Most of the game so far, our camera has been pointing from left to right. Morgan Parra losing the ball uncharacteristically. It was a delicate little chip by Marty, but James wants to take it quickly. And they have looked dangerous running from deep in recent minutes. Julien Malzieu now cuts inside. And Girardo, the hooker, kicking it on. The crowd feel that he was tackled late.
Can feel the atmosphere of the Perpignan pitch.
That was a highly ambitious long-range drop goal attempt. And now Clermont belt the ball way downfield. I think Girardo is still down.
The crowd is trying to put pressure on the ref. But he is an experienced one, that should be okay. It's always a frantic atmosphere in Perpignan. The crowd is really behind their team, so they can impress some young players still.
On y va, s'il vous plaît. On y va, on joue.
There's that frustration in referee Berdos's voice again that Laurent was talking about. He says it's time for us to get on and play. Marty claiming that James wasn't in touch, that he carried the ball into touch. I don't think he had much of a case.
The fact is the Clermont player went out before catching the ball, and even if the ball was still in the pitch, the fact the player was catching him, but him made the ball out of the pitch.
A crunch, sandwich tackle
on the
it's the Perpignan hooker,
so he should have torn his ankle, which shouldn't be too bad, but a little bit painful.
Well, hookers are tough, so he's going to rejoin the action.
And he will have the pressure to throw a straight ball this time.
It's the middle of the line and it's very solid, but they don't control it.
It's still Girardo in charge of the ball. It's very tough.
David Mele has had to go to ground there to secure possession. So coming in and acting scrum half is Magnas, and his pass was not a good one. Well, things are starting to get a little bit out of hand here. That was Julien Bonner going in after the whistle on Nicolas Laharag. Julien Bonner, the French international back rower, who is just back from injury himself and scored a try last week as Clermont absolutely destroyed Top 14's bottom club Albi, who had a surprise win over Bayonne last night.
The Clermont back row, it's an interesting one with Bonner, Vermeulen and Julian White. But at the moment they don't have the big impact they should.
Here's Vermeulen. We haven't seen much evidence of them as ball carriers so far. Taking it up now was Cabello. A dart from Joubert. Again, the crowd trying to put pressure on the referee Berdos. This is Clermont's best attacking position so far, at least in terms of territory. They're being forced backwards by some ferocious Perpignan tackling.
Not sure letting the fullback going first in front of the forward is the best strategy. Particularly the Clermont one, Flock is quite a light player. but they still have the possession of the ball.
It's very slow ball though. It's up to the back row to take it forward again. They've gone holding on to it, not releasing, and that has given the penalty to Perpignan. Well, they look short of ideas somehow there, Clermont.
Yeah, they made a couple of wrong choices, like the one in the fullback. They have to be more organized and more patient, and to be able to organize them all. As we can see, one Perpignan player beat 3 or 4 Clermont players, so they have to be better on that one if they want to be in a good position to score.
Be an appropriate time to mention that coming into this round of games, Clermont had the joint best attack in terms of tries scored, 17 in 7 games up until this weekend, while Perpignan have the best defence in terms of keeping tries out. They'd only conceded 4 in their first 7 games, and you can see why with defence like that. That was good ball from Chuli off the top of the line out, and this is a test for Nalaga. Oh, far too much ball going to ground from Clermont, but they have the advantage for the knock-on.
C'est le bleu quand il veut intercepter qui fait en avant. C'est une mêlée jaune pour vous.
At the moment, Perpignan is more able to put pressure on their opponent. Even if Clermont has the ball more often, they are not able yet to push backwards Perpignan. But maybe they could change if Clermont is able to have correct balls from scrum and line-outs.
Have got dangerous runners, but Malzieu cannot gather that one cleanly. 2 knock-ons, the first one of them from Clermont, so the scrum goes to Perpignan. Yeah, Laurent, Morgan Parra and Brock James haven't really asserted their influence yet from half-back. They're not controlling the game for Clermont.
No, definitively they are under pressure because their forwards at the moment are not able to offer some clean balls to play. So Morgan Parra is under pressure from that, and Brown James cannot put his influence on the game yet. He did it by a couple of very good kicks, but obviously that's not enough to
but they've won this one against the head of the scrum, as Perpignan got their organisation wrong, but again the ball has not gone to hand. Another knock-on from Malzieu for the second time in 2 minutes. I'm not sure the ball was really intended for him actually. But
no, I don't think so. That's a perfect example of the disorganization of Clermont. They are called for a specific game with Malzieu on the inside of Brock James. But instead of Julien Malzieu is Jacquet, the lock who got the ball. Obviously he's not the same speed and he's not the same impact on the game.
Laharag going for a cross kick, but it's way too long. Maybe that was the wind that Laurent was talking about working against him.
Yeah, at the moment the two teams are making a pause in a way. It was tense and Perpignan started really fast and strong in the first part of the games, so there is a price to pay for that, and at the moment they are looking for sort of break in the game, and Clermont, who forgot to start, did better in the second 10 minutes, in the last 10 minutes, but at the moment they are not able to organize their game in such a good way, so it's not a very interesting part of the game right now. Let's hope he will change in the next minutes.
There's Jack Brunel, the Perpignan coach, looking at his feet. You don't often see a smile on Jack Brunel's face. He always looks for things that can be improved upon.
Yeah, he's is a perfectionist, so he wants to find a solution to help the team to create an even bigger gap than the 11 points on the scoreboard at the moment. Here is Bernard Couta, the forward coach. And the Perpignan coach don't look that confident, even if they should. But I know Clermont is a strong team, so with a try from them, they will be back in the game. So they have to be really careful on how they defend, how they get the ball and keep in control of it.
And they have control of the ball now. And this is slicker handling, but a real mistake there. They got their wires crossed. It was Flosch and Fofana running in front of the ball carrier.
If it should be a consent coach, it should be Van Cotta, because at the moment nothing works in Clermont. The defense didn't work in the first 15 minutes, and now it's the attack. He really has to find a way to change that. Maybe Jimmy Clermont is on the bench. He could be a big impact in the second half. Or with the backs, there will be Brent Russell. He's quite a creative player. Can be a big impact too if he's on the pitch.
Russell, who has already scored 3 tries this season. This was the little kick through from David Marty, who's looked pretty good on his return to the side today. There's Vern Cotter on the right of picture. The expression tells its own story.
Yeah, he doesn't have the solution right now.
But this ball they simply have to secure. And Bonaire, who's usually such a good line-out jumper, almost let it escape him. But the referee's decision has gone in favour of Clermont, and they take it quickly. And he's through here, Brock James. But has he got the support?
Yeah, such a big opportunity to score.
Yeah.
You wanted to see the scrum half and the fly-up of Clermont. Just have seen them. That was a very good decision from Morgan Parra. He had to create a momentum from something. This free kick was the perfect opportunity, particularly as the Perpignan defense was under. And Brock James was able to add his speed to this opportunity.
And if that pass goes to hand, Clermont score. It's as simple as that.
Such a shame Nalaga was unable to go a little bit more towards the center of the pitch to help Brock James pass the ball to him.
It is a real feature of the top 14. It's often those quickly taken taps that lead to try scoring opportunities with the defence not at all structured. You have to have the players capable of doing it, of course. Play on with Perpignan. Chaliwachu. Fofana trying to tackle him. That was a good pass out of contact. And now it's Marty to his centre partner, who's already scored 1 try, Grand Claude. Approaching the 22. David Mele going in to try to get this ball out.
Trop tard, on va jouer trop tard, c'est un rug, vous continuez à jouer.
And it is a penalty to Perpignan. Good skill this from Chaliwachu.
Yeah. For someone who was supposed to play prop. That was an impressive
props these
pass.
days, Laurent. Props in your day too. They had all the skills, we know that.
Just notice the player with the ball right here is Jérôme Porical, and as we didn't see Christophe Manas for a long time now, I guess Christophe Manas was injured, and Jérôme Porical, we can see now with the ball, is on the pitch playing as a wing, even if he can generally play as a fullback. On that one he will have to play as a wing.
And he was a key player in the final success last year when Perpignan won the Bouclier de Brennes for the first time since 1954. Now Laharag with the chance to make it 17-3 to Perpignan with 10 minutes to go until half time. And it's hit the post.
Non, devant, 6,
Well.
6.
Marius Schubert clears. Perpignan come back. Chaliwachu seeing a lot of the ball all of a sudden. Melee to Laharag.
Ballon, lâchez.
Marty encouraged to go left, and that's exactly what he does. Julien Condelon, who we've not seen very much of so far, had his kick charged down. Young French international winger. It's all a bit messy.
Non, ne jouez pas le ballon.
Looks like Clermont is in control of the ball.
Yeah, the ball just about coming back on the Clermont side.
Elle est rentrée.
Again, a poor pass. That was very nifty footwork from Brock James to clear his lines.
It was an interesting phase where the two teams went a little bit mad on their rugby. It was quite disorganized, but it's in such... It could have been a big opportunity for one of the team to score. Unfortunately, we haven't seen a try on that one, but if they keep that momentum, there should be a wide rugby on the second half.
Clermont are having some problems under the high ball.
Lâchez.
A little spell of dominance again. Was that pass forward? The referee says no. Perez took it on, and there was no knock on either in the eyes of Monsieur Berdos.
Lâchez. Vous l'avez. Lâchez au sol.
Referee Berdos telling the player on the ground to leave the ball alone.
Non, non, il n'y a pas de problème, il est dans l'axe. Attendez-vous.
And telling the players to calm down as Perez acts as acting scrum half, and Laharag decides he's had enough of that, and he's just going to pin Clermont right back onto their own goal line.
Really clever kick. No, the defense was really in place. The ball was too slow, so it wasn't so many opportunity to play either an up and under or that sort of kick. So now Clermont is under pressure, line out 5 meters from their own scoring line. The Clermont hooker has to...
And again, it's untidy in the line-out. Bonner was the intended target, and he knocked on there. I was going to ask you, Laurent, but the play happened too quickly. Who would you go to defensively in that situation?
The obvious option and the most efficient one is to throw the ball to the first jumper. If you are well organized, it's really difficult to defend on that jumper. But obviously, Clermont didn't go for the easy option and are paying the price right now, because that's a fantastic opportunity for Perpignan to score a try again.
It was a fantastic opportunity, but again, trouble at scrum time. Yeah, engaging too quickly for the liking of Monsieur Berdos. Brunel knows that that's a great opportunity wasted. Are Perpignan good value for this 14 points to 3 lead, Laurent?
Oh yeah, they really deserve that lead because they are really putting a big impact on the game. They are really positive on the way they attack the game, and they were able to create some momentum to keep a ball able to fly from the forwards to the backs. The two first tries came really early, in a way a little bit too easy, but it's not because of Perpignan, obviously it's because of Clermont defense. which was weak on these two occasions. Perpignan, we deserve such a lead at the moment. They are playing really well, they are ahead, and they should stay like that at least until the switch.
Let's just remind our viewers of how the bonus points work in the top 14. You get a defensive bonus point for losing by fewer than 7 points. To get the attacking bonus point, you have to score 3 more tries than the opposition. So theoretically, if Perpignan can score their 3rd try and keep Clermont out, then they'll get the full 5 points for the win with the attacking bonus point. They've only got 1 attacking bonus point all season, so that would be quite incredible if they managed to do that against the side who were runners-up in France last year.
And who is the top of the ranking at the moment.
Well, some people don't like this aspect of the game. Personally, I'm delighted to see the rolling maul back in fashion. Clermont being reminded to stay behind the back foot. Well, Chaliwachu got stopped in his tracks by Clermont. Melee at scrum half. Another up and under. It's been a much used tactic and it's well positioned. It gave the attackers the chance, but it's been well dealt with too. Again, too weak in the tackle. The advantage being played, and we'll come back.
Well, that's Manas, so I was wrong earlier.
I have a feeling Berger isn't on the pitch at the moment. I haven't seen him for quite a while.
Yes, yeah, it should be the most logical choice, because Porical is definitively a fullback, so he should be the one in charge if Philip Berger is injured. Jack Brunel is not happy with his fly-half choice. It's true, he wasn't under pressure, so his kick wasn't an obligation. And more than that, as he missed it, the coach can only be upset. But that was a very good opportunity to score a try.
Number 8 pickup from Chuli, and this time it's Melee, the scrum half, going for a kick, and he's done just the same thing as his fly half, Laharag. Well, I rather hope our match director cuts to Jack Brunel on the touchline again now.
At least you can be sure the two coaches will have plenty to discuss at half-time, because even if Perpignan start was nearly perfect, their game is not right as the coach can expect it to be right now. And I won't tell you about Clermont because it's about everything: attack, defense. Not sure 10 minutes will be enough to make it.
I have a feeling that they've made more mistakes in this opening half than they have in entire games, if not more than that, so far this season. It's very unlike them, particularly given that Vern Cotter elected to send out just about his strongest side today. That doesn't always happen for away games in France. Well, feeding off those scraps. There was a mistake earlier in this move, but they managed to get it back together again with Vermeulen. And they will have a chance here to get themselves back within pretty interesting range, because if they go in 8 points down, considering the way they've played, I think in a funny sort of way they'll be the happier of the two sides. Perpignan should have this game won, no questions.
There should be a big reward if Brock James can score 3 points, particularly on that action. He starts really badly, but with the energy the players put in it to correct the mistakes, that offered an opportunity to score to them this penalty. And you can say, at least on that occasion, because of the energy they put in it, they deserve that penalty. They deserve that 3 points. And for us, it's a fantastic bonus because that creates a big interrogation on the second half. Can Clermont be back on the scoreboard?
Brock James, 90% success more or less this season, but that's a rare miss from the Australian. And that's the half-time whistle. So at half-time at the Stade Aimé Giral, it's Perpignan 14, Clermont 3. A very, very quick summary of the first half, Laurent.
Yeah, fantastic start from Perpignan, able to so easily score 2 tries. After that, he was a little bit more confused. Clermont being back on the game, but not really able to create some so dangerous moves. So we have to wait for the second half now.
Thank you very much to Laurent Benezek. Both he and myself, David Crossan, will be back for the second half very shortly. Remember, we've got Toulouse Stade Francais coming up later this afternoon too. See you very soon indeed. Bye for now. Welcome back to Eurosport Asia Pacific's coverage of France's top 14 championship. At half-time at the Stade Aimé Giral, Perpignan second in the league, lead Clermont, the league leaders. And it's quite a large margin at the moment, 14 points to 3.
Yeah, and it's a logical score when you look at how it happens in the first half, where Perpignan was really impressive in the first 15 minutes of the game, being able to quickly score 2 tries. Clermont was in trouble. It looked like they didn't want to start that game. They were missing a lot of defensive tackles. There was no organization defensively. After that, the game became more balanced. Clermont was able to be in control of the ball, to put Perpignan under pressure. But their attack wasn't organized neither, so they were unable to really create an opportunity to score a try, and they are still running after Perpignan. 11 points between the two teams. That will be difficult. Clermont can do it, but they really have to improve their level. They really have to be able to put Perpignan under more pressure than they did in the first half.
That's the voice of Laurent Benezek, the former French international prop, who is with me for today's game. A reminder of more top quality rugby coming your way on Eurosport Asia Pacific. Straight after Perpignan Clermont, we've got the so-called Classico. It's Toulouse against Stade Francais. My colleague Robbie Knock is in Toulouse for that game, and his co-commentator will be Bertius Swanepoel, a South African who is on Toulouse's books. And the rugby doesn't stop there on Eurosport Asia Pacific. Very soon we'll bring you the Heineken European Cup, and don't forget we've also got all the best stuff from the Guinness Premiership in England. The Heineken European Cup starting in a couple of weeks, as Laurent Benezek said in the first half. A high quality, high-level game like this is a good way for these two clubs to prepare for their assault on Europe. Perpignan leading Clermont 14 points to 3 at half-time. Clermont with it all to do in the second half. The Clermont players are back on the field for this second half of this top 14 clash against Perpignan. Clermont trailing by 14 points to 3 away from home. Grand Claude and Brits with the 2 Perpignan tries within the opening quarter of an hour. At that stage, it looked like there'd be no way back for Clermont, but they're still just about in it. 11 points down. Brock James with 1 penalty for them. Had he scored a second, which was eminently kickable on the stroke of half-time, then Clermont would only have been trailing by 8, and it would have looked a whole lot more realistic. Anyway, it is still all to play for. Laurent Benezek is with me here in the commentary box, and Clermont will get the second half underway here.
the two teams' coaches had too much to say for the halftime. Then the two teams are a little bit late, but now they can go again. For great rugby, we can hope on that second half.
Well, the second half has started off rather in the way that the first half came to its conclusion. It was a very interesting first half, but a rather odd first half. Far more mistakes than you'd expect from teams of this quality. The scrum has been a problem all afternoon long. Referee Christophe Berdos surveying it very carefully as pick up off the base of the scrum for Clermont. Joubert taking it into contact.
Avantage. Non, messieurs, on est sur un en avant. Pour vous. Ne parlez pas.
Now we come back to the Perpignan knock-on. So Clermont will have an interesting attacking scrum to work off here. They have proved already this season, Laurent, that they can score from first phase possession.
Yeah, they scored a fantastic try against Toulouse. It was the only try of the game, and he started from line out, and he was the wing coming inside his center, able to run through the Toulouse defense.
They've tried this a couple of times already, just the flick up to Morgan Parra to try to buy him a little bit more time. The Clermont scrum half, who is looking left. And again a knock-on.
Yeah, Clermont try exactly the same organization as against Toulouse, but obviously Perpignan had the video of that game, and the defense was in the perfect position to stop that.
And Jason White it was who couldn't keep the ball in his grasp. The Scottish back row forward, who's more known for the quality of his tackling than the quality of his handling.
You're not Scottish, aren't you?
Melee, putting the ball into the melee.
Oh, interesting. For the first time, Perpignan scrum was under pressure, and the ball was difficult to play for the fly.
And it was twisting around Nicolas Mass's side there. You do wonder, after his time out of the game, is he going to feel the pace in the second half? He only really had the second half last week to prepare himself for this.
Yeah, and his opponent is a very good prop too. It's Lionel Fauré. He used to play for Sale in England, and he used to play for France too. So it's a big challenge for Nicolas Mas for his second match of the season.
Well, neither side's line out functioning particularly well. Advantage over, says referee Berdos. Anthony Floch getting his body back round to the right side so that Clermont can keep hold of the ball, although the ball is out, and it's been won back. Mass with the little offload to Chaliwachu, and Melee putting it in behind Nepoloni Nalaga. Is this one going to go dead? Oh, Nalaga chooses to play it. And Perpignan can come back at them. Was that pass forward? Referee allows play to go on. And Julien Condolon stretching his legs for the first time, but overrunning it. And this time the advantage is in Clermont's favour as Brock James tucks it in way into opposition territory.
It was interesting to observe as Perpignan crossed the whole pitch in 2 kicks. That's an efficient way to put the opponent under pressure. But unfortunately, they lost the ball on that occasion with Julien Condolon, really impressive, really strong, but unable to control the ball. And Clermont in 1 kick is back on Perpignan's side of the pitch. A little bit of frustration for the two teams because
And again the ball lost,
of the ball.
That was Perez losing the ball in the Perpignan line-out. And again shielding the runners. You can't do that. It's against the rules. And Fofana, that's a couple of times that he's been involved in those sort of situations.
He's a very good player, but at the moment he has to learn how to play with the team or to be a part of the team. And on that one, he made his decision a little bit too late, so he put his partner in trouble.
Joubert had already made his move.
Yeah. So another opportunity for Perpignan to put Clermont under pressure. Let's see if Perpignan line out is as good as he was in the second part of the first half.
The line out has certainly been contested. That's a better claim this time from Perez. And Perpignan bullocking up the middle. Knock on again. Nothing sticking for either team.
Ici, il y en a en avant, il y a un incident et c'est par rapport au joueur qui est devant qui reprend en jeu.
I could like what Perpignan tried to achieve on that one. Just the momentum between the wing was too early in comparison with his center, so obviously the pass had to be forward. But if he walked, there was a real opportunity to create a gap in the defense.
There's a great way to create the extra man. It was Manas stepping in off his right wing. The timing just slightly off between him and David Marty.
Elvis Vermeulen is out, currently injured.
Just took a bang to the leg, I think.
Yeah, it should be Jamie Cudmore in or Alexandre Debert. That's interesting choice because he will give you Van Cotter's option. He wants power.
And he's gone for Odebert there in the end.
He wants a runner instead of a fighter.
Morgan Parra barking out the instructions to his forwards. You can just see the ball under control at the back of this maul. Nalaga making the extra man in the attacking line. And Clermont just had the nudge there, so they will get the scrum.
It was a little bit too obvious for Perpignan's defense. At the moment, the Catalans are really well organized, and Nalaga cannot really run with the ball. Of course, he's overlooked as a threat, and at the moment, he has no opportunity to create a gap.
Apoloni Nalaga, who went 5 games without scoring before scoring in last week's win at Albi. That was his longest try drought since joining the club, since playing in the French Top 14 Championship. It's like Perry Freshwater has come onto the field for Perpignan.
Le numéro 6 qui va sortir, 6 bleu. Le 6 bleu.
So a new prop for Perpignan, the New Zealand-born England international.
Now he's Catalan, as they call themselves, because he lived in Perpignan for at least 4 or 5 years, and I won't be surprised if he, after he retires from rugby, he will stay there. It's not a bad place to live.
When you see the sunshine, you wonder what the attractions are. Clermont switching the point of attack. So that Russell has come onto the pitch as well. A real pocket rocket of a player. But that's not the best thing he'll ever do in a Clermont shirt.
Le 22 jaune se coupe les soutiens. Le 17 bleu est devant. Est debout, pardon.
As Berdos explained, he had no support And the number 17 from Perpignan, Perry Freshwater, was on his feet playing the ball. Brent Russell getting ahead of himself. He was the man who scored that wonderful try against Toulouse.
Another big man on the pitch with Tuilagi.
Yeah, Henry Tuilagi at the veteran stage now has had his injury problems. He's come on for Jerry Britz. He's a real handful with the ball in hand, Laurent.
Yeah, he's really powerful, able to create a gap even if the defense is in front of him. That could be a big impact for Perpignan attack.
Oh, and they're nipping through the middle here with Gerardo. It needs Nalaga to make the tackle. Not many people can bounce off Nalaga. They should have space on this near side if they can use it. And it's Condolon running in. And Perpignan have their third try. Well, not only should that make the game safe, if their defence can hold out, that would give them the bonus point too. This could be quite a day for Perpignan on the way to the top of the table.
Impressive run from Perpignan hooker Girado. He recreated a break through the maul and put Clermont defense completely out of pace. After that, David Mellet made a good choice, finding his fly half, and it was just a question of good passes to offer Julien Candelon the opportunity to score.
But this was the crucial moment, creating the space. Gerardo, a lovely little sidestep. Do like to see that from hookers. A change of direction. It's the multifaceted way that the front rowers have to be these days. Well, Laurent said it was just a case of getting it through the hands. It's proved beyond both sides far too often today, but this time they got Condolon in, and he's a fine finisher. That's Perpignan's third try of the day. 19 points to 3 clear.
And you can hear the crowd singing, "We are the champions."
Laharag has missed 3 kicks so far. Made that 4. 16 points the gap now. Look at the power. Pretty good pace as well from Gerardo. Always looking around him, aware of what was going on. And it sucked in the Clermont defence, creating that space on the far left-hand side of the field for Condolon to run in.
Now Clermont has to play, has to really get mad with the ball, trying to take the maximum of risk. If they want to win this game, it's still possible, but they have to create something and score tries as soon as possible.
Malzieu bundled into touch. He scored a try last week against Albi. It was an 80-metre run. It was his first game for 5 months, and he admitted afterwards it was probably a good job that he didn't have 5 metres further to run. I think even I could have caught him if he carried on like that. It's going to take him time to get back up to full speed. But yeah, for the neutral, this could be a really good last half hour, because Clermont are going to have to go for the tries if they want to take anything out of this game. Perhaps even a bonus defensive point for getting within 7.
Clermont coach is trying everything he can, as much as he can. All his substitutes are on the pitch now. I've seen Thomas Domingo, the prop, Jamie Cudmore, I guess as a lock this time, Brent Russell, Alexandre Debert. They're trying to have some...
We're going to come back here, I think, because Laharag was taken out late.
Listen to the crowd. So there's a big impact on the crowd, the sort of late tackle.
If the referee wants to know his number, he just has to ask the crowd. I'm sure they'll encourage him to send one of the Clermont players to the sin bin.
It's Alexandre Rodebert who made it.
Was that just momentum, Laurent, or did he know exactly what he was doing?
It looks like it's momentum. He is a little bit late, that's true, and the penalty. Apparently the ref disagrees with me. Kayaski is a touchline judge, and for him that has to be a yellow card.
Yeah. He hasn't been on the pitch for very long, Alexandre Rodebert, and he's now going to have a 10-minute cooling off period. I always feel that the slow motion replays, which we enjoy so much, they exaggerate the effect sometimes of these challenges.
Yeah, obviously, because it's always quite violent. On that one, Alexandre Rodebert just jumped on the player. He was late, that's obvious, but he wasn't tackling him or trying to hit him as hard as possible. So it's quite severe, and obviously makes Clermont task even more complicated than he already was.
And of course, it's going to be a penalty to Perpignan from where the ball landed, and it's going to be taken by Jérôme Porical. It's another missed kick from Perpignan, so they remain 16 points clear. And they're playing at 15 men against 14 now for the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, at the moment it looks like he will be a new leader in the French league tonight. Because if Perpignan wins this game, they should be ahead of Clermont by at least 1 point.
We saw Willy Weffener, the South African hooker, has just rolled onto the pitch for Clermont. Yeah, they'll go ahead by 1 point if they don't get the attacking bonus point, by 2 if they do get the attacking bonus point, unless Clermont manage to get back within 7 to get that bonus defensive point. There are a fair few permutations. We'll keep you updated with those towards the end of this game, which is becoming increasingly physical.
Je pensais qu'il y avait un blessé grave, c'est pour ça. C'est pour moi, j'ai arrêté, je pensais qu'il y avait un blessé grave.
The referee says he thought there'd been a seriously injured player. Nothing too much to worry about, he thinks.
It was even a high tackle, but the ref judged he wasn't that bad. We're going to see it again from David Meller.
It's above shoulder height.
Yeah, it could have been a penalty on that one too.
That's Jason White.
He's the one who is unable to catch a ball.
I didn't say he was unable to catch a ball. I said he's better at tackling.
Yeah, apparently he catch the guy with the ball more than the ball.
Jason White, ex of Sale in the Guinness Premiership. And don't forget that you can watch the Guinness Premiership on Eurosport Asia Pacific. There's also, straight after this game, Robbie Knock and Bertus Swanepoel commentating on the Classico Toulouse Stade Francais. And in 2 weeks' time, the Heineken European Cup to look forward to.
Flexion, touché, stop. Non, les appuis. Je change de côté.
Quite a lot of anglophones in the competition now. You could hear them saying "Oi ref," not "Oi monsieur l'arbitre," just there, Laurent.
Yeah, it's true. Because of the value of the euro, it's more and more players in France than it used to be in England. So the pound is a little bit weak at the moment. Could explain why the French club have the capacity to get much and more players from England.
Yeah, the crowd whistling for everything They thought that Brent Russell had carried it over the line.
Yeah, that's quite a complicated rule. The fact if a player can be 1 foot in, 1 foot out when he catch the ball, as we are exactly seeing it. It means the ball is out, but it's not the player catching him who did it. So he keeps the control of the ball and he's in charge of the line out.
Clermont battling for their lives with Alexandre Audebert off the pitch.
7. Vous allégez carrément, vous allongez, d'accord?
It's Perez who is penalised, the open side flanker for Perpignan. Even if the open blind side flanker is rather less in the French rugby culture than it is in the English rugby culture. Real slice. And Russell will fancy running it back, though he elects to use his boot. Brilliantly kept in play.
Prenez le point. On attend.
And the bounce, taking the ball into touch.
Another fantastic kick, this time from Nicolas Laharag. He was able to find his at least 60 meters kick. And
that was a great take by Poricao. Did incredibly well to keep himself the right side of the white line.
Another impressive tackle. Now Clermont is under pressure. They have to get the ball on that line out to be able to kick the ball away from their scoring zone.
And Bay has come on for Joubert for Clermont. Defending a defensive line out here. Julien Bonner has dispensed with the scrum cap for the second half. Maybe it's a bit too hot for him with that on. He's still having just as much trouble catching the ball in the line out though. Very unlike Julien Bonner to drop so many line out balls.
Yeah, even when they catch the ball in the air, they're unable to control it on the floor. So it's hopeless at the moment for Clermont with line outs.
Flexion. Relevez. On refait les commandements. Flexion. Touché. Top. Entrée.
With Clermont a forward light, a chance for a drive from Perpignan. Already 3 tries to the good. And that had to be a knock-on from Melee, but the penalty had already been awarded. They were playing advantage. And surely they'll go for another scrum here, Laurent.
Looks like it. Yeah, there's 1 extra man on the scrum, so that's a big advantage for Perpignan. They could have a big opportunity to score to them.
Referees in France don't mind awarding penalty tries if that sort of thing happens a bit too often, particularly from these repeated scrums. It's happened a fair bit this season already.
Yeah, if Clermont tries to kill the scrum by letting down, there could be a penalty try, obviously.
La reprise.
Vincent Debati has come onto the field. Clermont replacement. Now, already that scrum coming up there. Both sides equally at fault, I think, is Mr. Burdos's decision. You could see Weaponer and Mass's heads poking out with the scrum from the Perpignan side.
Clermont has 2 fresh props, so that should help them to deal with the pressure of Perpignan.
Well, the scrum has disintegrated.
Yeah, he went from a scrum to a maul without any pass, which is not supposed to happen.
But we're going to play on. And in goes Freshwater. Melee to Laharag. Cutting inside here is Marty. He was looking for Tulagi. I thought that might have bounced forward.
Ben oui, c'est la même, le 16, first. C'est le premier comme pour là. Non, non.
And going over the top, I think, is the call.
C'est pour vous.
A penalty
D'accord, ok.
in Clermont's favour. This was Marty. Well, it wasn't really a controlled attempt to shift the ball on to Tulagi. Just beyond the hour mark, Perpignan 19, last season's champions, Clermont 3. Perpignan had also beaten Clermont the last 5 times these teams have met at the Stade Aimé Giral. It looks like that's going to become 6. The question now is whether they'll get the full 5 points for the win plus the attacking bonus point, or whether Clermont can either score a try to deny Perpignan that extra point or get back to within 7 points themselves to get a point.
At the moment there is a very French break. It's 1 minute for a drink. I'm not sure it's on the book of rules.
Oh,
but in the south of France,
it's very hot where you play rugby in the south of France.
You will appreciate that sort of break.
We'll take advantage of that break to remind you of more great rugby coming up on Eurosport Asia Pacific. Straight after this game, Robbie Knock is in Toulouse for the Classico. It's Toulouse Stade Francais. His guest co-commentator today is a South African who's on Toulouse's books, Bertus Swanepoel. Byron Kelleher is on the bench there, potentially making his return to action today. And then we've got the Heineken European Cup for you, as well as some Guinness Premiership rugby. Eurosport Asia Pacific is your rugby channel. Clermont still down to 14 men. The time ticking by on Alexandre Audebert's 10-minute penalty for the yellow card that he picked up for the late tackle on Nicolas Laharag. Now they go looking for some work. Coming in off his left wing. 10 didn't move away, and Power is going to take it quickly. James. Now Cudmore making that good ground that Laurent predicted that he would. Well, just briefly they had a 3-on-2, but Bai didn't spot it.
No, dedans.
Power to James. Barging through there. His weaponer loves to get his hands on the ball. White taking it to ground. Power keeping it alive with James, who's tackled by Tinku. Little flick through from Fofana. Well, that looked like another late tackle to me. Could be more trouble here. Oh, Chaliwachu using his fists. It'll take something to live up to the brawl of Albi Bayonne on Friday night.
It's a shame because it was for the first time Clermont was in control of the ball for more than 2 or 3 times, able to create something, try to get some momentum, but unfortunately they went for this short kick, which wasn't efficient enough, and then Perpignan was able to kick the ball away from the area.
Cudmore is the man being fingered by the touch judge for the late tackle. And Chaliwachu is also going to find himself in Mr. Berdos's bad books for those punches that the Cameroonian threw. The two captains being called over, along with Jamie Cudmore and Chaliwachu.
Les deux capitaines et les autres se poussent. Il y a 3 fautes pour vous. 3 fautes. Un plaquage en retardement, 2 coups de poing délibérés. Donc ça, vous connaissez la sanction. Vous venez faire la police, il n'y a pas de geste, mais vous vous remettez dessus. Donc vous c'est jaune et vous c'est rouge.
That's a red card for Cudmore and a yellow for Chaliwachu. Referee Berdos explained that there was the late tackle and 2 punches. He said that there were 3 fouls from Jamie Cudmore, and Chaliwachu getting a yellow because he tried to take the law into his own hands. Well, Clermont down to 13 now. There's the late tackle on Porrical from Cudmore. Now let's look at the punches. I think Chaliwachu was the aggressor there.
Yeah, at the same time he's aggressor. It's the red card is just because of the accumulation of faults. If you look at each of the fault, there's nothing to reproach to the player. It's a late tackle, yes, but at the same time it's not that late, and he can stop himself like that. And after that, the other player, the Perpignan player, aggress him. What can he do? He has to.
It's a rare rugby player indeed who doesn't punch back when punched.
So a very severe red card. My opinion, it should have been 2 yellow cards, obviously, but red is a bit too much.
And it's also given Perpignan this chance to kick for goal with Porrical, who was tackled late. He's taken over the kicking duties from Nicolas Laharague. Porrical has already missed one. And again, if their kicking had been better, they could have been 30 points up.
Arrêt de jeu, le 3. 3 bleus, changement.
There's the time ticking down on Chaliwachu in the sin bin. I think we've got Audebert back on the pitch, so it's 14 v 14 at the moment.
Perpignan captain Nicolas Mas is off, and the new captain is the back row Perez.
Yeah, Mas has done his job today. He lasted 65 minutes, needs to build up the fitness after missing a lot of the season. Listen to the crowd, they love watching Henry Tuilagi go on a charge. Now Perez, the acting captain. Bai takes it quickly. Russell looking for a gap. There wasn't there. Hands off the ball, says Berdos. Rob James. Tuilagi half stopping wide. Malzieu tried the little chip through. Bit of a messy phase of play. And the scrum is Perpignan's. Didn't really have many options, Julien Malzieu.
The ball went too quickly to him, and he was stuck between the defense and the touch line.
We totally missed the ball.
Yeah. And as he was under pressure, he didn't even succeed to kick the ball.
I think Henry Tuilagi's got a contact lens injury there.
La reprise.
I'm not sure his vision of the game is his main strength.
He likes to find those tunnels and run into them, knocking over everything in his way. There were some who thought that Tuilagi being injured actually liberated Perpignan last season, forced them to play slightly differently. That looked high.
There should be another yellow card, maybe.
It was Laharag who went in high on his opposite number, James, I think.
Capitaine,
It has to be a card if Mr. Burgos is going to be consistent.
Yeah, he wants to, the ref wants to keep in control of the game, so he has to punish him before he gets too bad.
Hard to keep track of all of this, but I make that 14 plays 13 now. Cudmore sent off, and Chaliwachu and Laharag in the sin bin. Well, it was right around the neck of Brock James, no questions about that. You wonder whether Julien Bonner was going to say to Laharag, why don't you punch me, so you get sent off as well.
That will help Clermont to be able to score something before the end of that game. Maybe after that line out should be a good opportunity to attack Perpignan defense.
Not quite the game that we were expecting or perhaps hoping to see, really.
No, we were expecting something tense, but not in that way, more in a rugby way. Yeah, we were impressed by the first 15 minutes, particularly on the Perpignan side. But after that, yes, it wasn't completely a normal rugby game, where Clermont was unable to build on something, on a real strategy in attack or even a very organized defense. So after that, the second half was just something between a mess and a lack of organization between the two teams.
Flexion, touché, stop, encore. Voilà. Non, vous êtes à la valse, reculez, veille.
Clermont have tried this one a few times. James, tackled by Perez. Parra has a real eye, and he's flung backwards by Mele.
C'était un plaquage, donc il n'y avait rien.
Now White taking it up. Needs to get this ball to come back on the Clermont side. They're not far away from the line now. That's a good line run by Nalaga. They've been well read, though, by the Perpignan defence. A rumble up from Debati. 5 metres from the line. Perpignan's line has only been breached 4 times this season. Debati again has 3 Perpignan shirts around him. Marty lending his weight to the defensive effort. Bonner trying to create a platform. Very, very aggressive defence from Perpignan again. Parra to James. Goes for the kick through. Has Bai got the pace to get there first? No. It was well read by Perpignan. Excellent defence from Candelon, who scored the second half's only try.
Because of the yellow card of Laharag, Nicolas Candelon, maybe the faster of the Perpignan backs, was playing as a centre. And maybe they saved the try because it's obviously Candelon's speed who saved it from the Clermont backs.
Yeah.
So
Fofana and Bai were both going through.
So if you follow me, maybe if he wasn't the yellow card, he was a try.
As Candelon is quicker than Laharag.
I think so.
Up and under. It's from Brent Russell, and it's come back on the yellow side with Malzieu, who has had a quiet game. hasn't had much to work off. It's not necessarily been his fault. This is better. Julien Bonner, tackled by Grand Claude. Clermont up into the 22. They still have that man advantage, remember, temporarily. Even though Jamie Cudmore had been sent off. Maybe more disciplinary action.
Non, mais c'est sur les pieds. Oui, il n'y a pas de problème. Calmez-vous, c'est pris, s'il vous plaît. Reste là.
It's quite an usual action of French rugby where two players are struggling and fighting over a maul, because obviously there are really strict rules about it, but in France players think they're not that strict.
Vous arrivez trop vite, hein. Tant mieux pour vous, mais par contre après, si vous utilisez, c'est pas bon. Vous réagissez, j'en veux plus. Hein.
Yeah, if he wasn't that amount of yellow cards before, maybe Julien Bonner was getting one for his tough way of tackling Perez. So he's lucky to be still on the pitch, and Clermont is lucky to play with still 14 players.
So I think with the benefit of this replay, you can see that he could easily have got a yellow card there. But what saved him, in the eyes of the referee and his assistant, they said that Bonner had just gone into that contact situation a bit quickly. That's a generous interpretation. Well, it won't be long before Chaliwachu comes back onto the pitch. I'll make it about a minute left of his time off. It was the 63rd minute when Cudmore was sent off. And Chaliwachu accompanied him.
Ici, monsieur, non. C'est ici le point de faute, pas là-bas. L'ailier qui part devant le coup de pied.
Here's a decision for Clermont to make. And they're going to go for the corner.
Because of the score, they have no choice but the line out.
19.
Except they weren't that strong on line outs today. And apparently Julien Bonner is the only jumper in Clermont's side at the moment. So that will make Perpignan defense easier on that line out.
They go to the front of the line.
Mais par le cœur. Pas le problème, c'est par le cœur.
And that's great defending from Perpignan, forcing the turnover.
Clermont was really weak today on mauls. Perpignan really outbeat them on that part of the game, and it's an important one, and they explain a lot on the score of that game.
Nalaga to Russell. Still plenty of pride involved for Clermont. It's by the Fijian. A late introduction into the match day squad after Kanyali pulled out. Kanyali's place in the first team taken by Fofana. This is a terrific situation for Clermont. Debati went through, but again they waste it.
The best opportunity to score a try for Clermont. Unfortunately, the last pass was missed by the Bay.
Yeah, they've got to keep trying right until the last, because as we've mentioned with the bonus point rules, all it would take would be a converted try and a penalty, and effectively that would give them 2 extra points compared to Perpignan.
Yeah, but first, only a try will take the bonus point away from Perpignan. And that's already something for Clermont, because these two teams will fight for the leading place of the league. So if Clermont avoid offering 5 points to Perpignan today, there will be an opportunity on the second leg when this match will be in Clermont, to take the advantage on Perpignan.
I think those rules are good for the game. They make sure the teams try all the way until the 80 minutes are up. The top two from the top 14 will qualify automatically for the semi-finals. Teams 3 to 6 will go into the playoffs. As Tinku is unceremoniously dumped backwards before Mele thwacks one downfield. Russell has to watch the bounce of the ball. But rugby balls do funny things when they hit the turf, but Russell, he loves this sort of situation. He's made about 40 metres. This is terrific stuff now all of a sudden. Fofana held up in midfield. The support going right over the top of the ball, off their feet.
Another example of how strong Perpignan is on the maul situation. One Perpignan player was able to beat 3 Clermont players.
That was Tinku being thrown backwards. Look at Russell's eyes. Kept his eyes on the ball and his eye on the gap. Wonderfully balanced runner.
Yeah, apparently he has no contact lens problem.
Well into the last 5 minutes, and Perpignan will be delighted to keep the ball down here, looking for that maximum 5-point win. Steve Meyer is getting a huge cheer. He snapped his anterior cruciate ligament, did the South African, and this is his first appearance for several months.
Yeah, it can be another option at fly half for Jacques Brunel, and he made some interesting games before his injury, and he was taking the lead over Nicolas Larac for the fly-off position.
Competition is always welcome in these big squads.
Yeah, the French rugby season is always really long, so to have top form fly halves, it's always a bonus for the coach.
Yeah, there are 26 regular season league games plus the playoffs, hopefully, for both of these two teams, and the European commitments too. It's an awful lot of games, an awful lot of contact for the body to endure, and it's important to manage your players.
Flexion, touché, stop, non. Les appuis, ils s'allongent, ils se décalent. Ça pose de... Pardon.
Your analysis of the scrums today, Laurent?
Perpignan did quite well, but Clermont was able to avoid to be under pressure too much, and so neither of the teams were penalized by weak scrum, and it was too many faults and problems to know exactly which team was taking the lead. Both teams will be happy with the scrum in a way, because they didn't concede any fault or any ball lost. But at the same time, it's still a lot to work on if they want to use their scrum as a real strength against other teams.
Flexion, touché, stop, plus haut.
Bonaire picks up Melzier, a left footer playing on the right wing.
Vous êtes sous pression, oui. C'est injouable, c'est pour eux.
Unplayable in the eyes of the referee.
Et le soutien bleu est trop tardif.
And the scrum for Clermont into the last minute. Perpignan 19, Clermont 3. Perpignan scored two tries within the opening quarter of an hour. Grandcourt and Brits, and added a third try, the one which looks likely to give them that attacking bonus point 10 minutes after half-time through Clermont. That really sums up Clermont's day, I'm afraid. And it's the final action of the game. Perpignan go top of the top 14, a maximum 5-point win at home to Clermont. 3 tries. A quick summary of today from Laurent Benezet.
Yeah, Perpignan won that game in the first 15 minutes with 2 easy and quick tries from their backs. But after that, Clermont was sort of back in the game, able to create some opportunities, but unable to score. They were really organized today, both in defense and in attack, so Perpignan was quite easily in control of that game. The third try offered the opportunity to Perpignan to make it 5 points, so it's a perfect day for the Perpignan coaches. And there is a new leader in the French league.
Thank you very much, Laurent Benezet. He's been with me, David Crossan, all through this game. I can now hand over to Robbie Knock and Bertus Swanepoel, who will bring you Toulouse Stade Francais. Thanks for watching. More top quality rugby coming up right now. Bye for now.